Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode in Mapmaking Dungeonstalker. See, in the previous episode we were working on the details in this terrain, and for the most part this level is now done. So, what I've turned my attention to at this point is the next level. And if we go down this hall, this is the sort of idea that I was thinking about. So, I like the kind of underground, cramped feeling that sort of caves give off, and I know we've already done the Broodmother's Lair, which is slightly similar to this, but I'm going to try and make this one significantly different in a few ways, so I think it'll work out pretty well. The main way is just how the terrain folds out. So in the Broodmother's Lair one, the terrain is a bit more cramped and spirally and cramped basically. And in this one there are more open spaces, which we will put pillars and things in, but it's a bit more open and a bit more stretched out. So hopefully we can fit some cool things here. So to begin with, as you have just been shown, I've dug out the main areas, and I was sort of thinking I kind of want it to be smooth in here, but that could be rather tricky to produce, and so probably I'm just going to see how good it looks without being really smooth all over the place, and then if it will look significantly better at that point to make it smooth, I might actually try to do that. But only if it's a significant improvement over what we already have. So to begin with, then, what I'm going to try and do is grab myself a sphere brush with stone bricks and maybe radius 1. And what I'm going to do here is just go around, build up a couple pillars around the place. I'll turn on my night vision camera. Oh. Humph. Yeah, I'll turn on my my night vision camera, and we will just to make it easier for me, and I will go around, fill stuff up, make some pillars, and hopefully that'll look cool. Alright, so I know this will be a little hard to see because I haven't added lights yet, but I have finished the shape of the first layer. I'll just go around and show you. I know it's really chaotic, and I have to admit that I was sort of going for that, but not at the start. See, my main problem here was that the first brush that I broke through the ground with sort of left a whole bunch of patterns, square patterns on the ground, and the only way to get rid of them really is either break them or fill in the gaps between them. And so I decided to try breaking them a little, and then I realized that WorldEdit, as usual, every I don't know, fourth click or whatever with the brush, instead of activating once, it activates 3 times. So you can see right there that was 1 click, and that if I undo it, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, three clicks, 3 activations for 1 click, and that makes things very messy unless you undo it. And since I'm using it so often, I don't want to undo it every so often because it's a lot of undo buttons that you have to click, and that's actually been giving me some serious trouble when building these things up. You can see this one's really ugly because apparently I haven't finished it. But yeah, every now and then it just places a whole bunch of these all at once, and then I have to undo them one by one. So that's not too fun. And so I sort of decided to try and just sort of ignore it really, and that's actually been working fairly decently. I mean, it's not the look I was strictly speaking going for, but it does look kind of cool. And that's good at least, because it relieves a lot of frustration and work from having to undo every single one of those extra little things that you didn't actually activate. So yeah, that's sort of what's going on with the building of it at the moment. However, I sort of need to keep going. So see, look at that, it's so ridiculous. But yeah, I'm just going to keep them there, and it'll add to the chaos. So I guess this one's probably going to be named WorldEdit Gone Wrong or something like that, because it is certainly going rather wrong every now and then. Aha! So the whole thing is now done, except for, of course, details, monster spawners, and we also have to change it from stone brick to something good. But we do have the terrain done. We've got all these nice pillars and things, all the blocks out of place. Thanks, WorldEdit. And we have fairly many rooms for things to be in. However, I think probably all we're going to do in the remainder of this episode is take these stone bricks, or sorry, basically just figure out a color palette, right? Because there are many to choose from. Now, we could go for a sort of red, netherish color palette, and that might fit in pretty well with just the sort of chaotic nature of the build. Actually, let's go over here. I was trying to find a flat spot to test this, but of course that doesn't exist. Anyway, yeah, we could go for this. We could go for this, but I'm not sure if that's the right one. So I'll just put down, I guess, a loose palette, nothing too fancy, and then move on and try a different one. So there is the nether palette. Then we could also go for something kind of stony, but we already did that, so I'm reluctant to choose that. And we haven't actually done anything nethery yet. There is also a possibility of doing sort of dark blackness, of course. That wouldn't look bad in here, except we already did that in the previous level. So the nether one is kind of looking good. What else do we have in here? We could do something kind of dirt and I don't know, just kind of dirty with lots of dirt and eloquent words like that. However, we do have that sort of tree one that we did in a couple levels ago, and I believe this one is sort of supposed to be deserty in general, but I guess the intersections don't really reflect the contents of the intersections so much. So yeah, this sort of idea is a possibility as well. Or that. Actually, how about people can vote on this, and if you don't choose, then I'll choose. But I'll put a poll in the top right corner, I guess, or maybe it's not in the top right corner. I can't remember if these card things are consistent across devices. But regardless, I'll put a poll in. You can choose dirt or this, or just tell me in the comments if you want to, if you have a different idea, and we'll build on these palettes too. They won't stay just as boring as they are. We'll figure something out a little bit more, and of course put other blocks in to complement them. But I think that'll probably be it for today, so leave your vote, and hopefully we will have votes in the next episode. Otherwise I'll just pick whatever. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and bye-bye.